Good evening. Oh my goodness, I'm very excited to be here tonight with you guys. My name, if you haven't met me, is Mr. James Brezhny. I teach orchestra at the middle school here in Oxford. I have to say, I'm very thankful that you guys are all with us tonight and supporting music education for our young musicians here today. This is something very special that we have in Oxford for the school district. There are string programs nearby and around this area, but not all the school districts have orchestra and string instruments in particular. So we are very fortunate to have this program, and it's wonderful. I think music, it challenges the mind and it nurtures the soul. And what we have on here on stage is our beginners. These are students who may have came to the orchestra classroom for the first time this year, ordered an instrument, opened the case for the very first time, brought it home, and there's a lot of excitement behind that. They learned how to rosin their bow, they learned how to sit, how to hold the instrument. We started learning how to read rhythm and music, and all these steps happen in just the first year of playing. And it's fantastic to see how it happens and how things change and progress through the year. So this is one of my all-time favorite concerts every year because it's just such a celebration to see what can happen in just a couple months' time. This is a really great group of students. I'm very delighted to share our progress. And snow days, what snow days? We're ready to go. So our first song, I'll talk about a couple of the first songs. We're going to start with a song called Open String Blues. And we use this one to sort of learn our open strings. On our string instruments, we have 4 of them. There's 4 open strings. This helps us learn and get used to about 3 of them and start playing pretty early on, which is great. It's also kind of fun. After that, we are going to play Old MacDonald and show off pizzicato. Pizzicato for our string instruments is where we use our bow and our right hand to pluck the strings, just like a harp player would or a guitar player would, but we do it in our own way. And so we're kind of showing off that stage of learning our instruments. Then from there, we're going to kind of show you a blend of pizzicato and moving to using the bow, which we call arco, for a D major round, and from there we'll explore some other things. So happy you're here tonight. Let's do this. Let's get the show on the road. Thank you. so after we start learning our notes and pizzicato and putting arco together, then we're ready to just go on and start learning tunes and songs. And then just go from there and learn different types of music and different pieces and genres and all sorts of stuff. So our next couple tunes are going to be just examples of that. And I like to throw in this next one, Twinkle Variations. It's Twinkle, Twinkle Little Star, but using some classic like string variations that we like to use on these string instruments that just open up the bow. So I don't know if this was your household at all this year, but I have to apologize, I'm partly responsible for this, but sometimes string instruments, you know, the first time you play them, don't sound as beautiful like on a piano. If I start learning piano, I just hit a note, it sounds relatively nice, right? On the string instruments, it's a little bit different, right? So sometimes there's maybe sounds like crunches and squeaks and all sorts of other sounds. So if you've been hearing some of those, that's just part of the process. And Twinkle Variations, the bow, the way we're using our bows for these that you'll see after we pizzicato the theme, is a way to just give a workout to our bow arms and to our techniques with our bow holds and everything involved in that. And it just gets us more accustomed and comfortable to using our bow and developing a nice sound, a nice tone that can sound really good and just pleasing and beautiful that we can use for the rest of our lives. So that's kind of a little bit about that one. Then after that, we're going to feature our different instruments that we have. We have violins on stage, we have violas on stage, and we have some cellos. And so the tunes Morning Dance, Rolling Along, and Lightly Row will happen right after each other, and each one is going to feature a different instrument, starting with cello, and then viola, and then the third song, Lightly Row, will feature violins. And everybody will play on those, but the beginnings of those songs, you can listen for those instruments. And then, after that, we are going to hear Ode to Joy, which is by Beethoven, which probably a lot of us know. And I recently, just this past summer, I was reading a biography, and I learned something that I didn't know before apparently from one of his neighbors that had a chicken coop. And apparently young Ludwig used to go and maybe possibly steal some eggs from his neighbor's chicken coop. So I can kind of imagine that happening here in Oxford. I know a lot of people who have chickens. And so I kind of think to myself, well, I wonder if there's a Beethoven in our district somewhere. So Ode to Joy, a shout out to such a beautiful song, Ode to Joy, of course, part of his 9th Symphony, a fantastic achievement, and we get to play it on our first concert, so that's pretty cool. So I hope you enjoy the next couple. to the end of our program. We have two more selections. The first is We Will Rock You. You guys will recognize that one. And our final one is a great orchestra ensemble piece called Royal Promenade. So this is starting to show where we're going next with orchestra, which is branching out and having what we call ensemble music, where each different instrument has different parts in the group, and they play at different times, they have different notes, and we start hearing all these different colors, because now we have harmony. We have more than just one line of music. So you'll hear that happening in our next two pieces. As sort of a newsletter moment here, I just want to grab your ears for just a second about a couple things that you might hear from me about in the coming months. Usually in February, I send out an email that has information about different opportunities for young string players in the area, in our school, outside of the school. And so here are a couple of those opportunities. One is Fiddle Club. Fiddle Club is something we do as part of the Oxford Orchestra program starting in March every year. This is kind of tailored. I've tailored it to work really well with people who are in 6th grade orchestra or beginning orchestra in their first year. And there are sort of options and levels. So I actually will have 2 days a week that Fiddle Club runs. Not exactly sure the 2 days yet. That information will come soon in February. But one of the days is kind of for anybody who hasn't been playing so long and they want to get into it. They want to get their feet wet they're excited in orchestra class every day and they just want to play more stuff. And so we learn some tunes. And that day, on those days, we kind of work on a tune, a new song, maybe a new song every week or two. And we kind of work it a little bit, we get comfortable, and then we start building a repertoire every week as we go through. And this Fiddle Club goes on through the month of May. So by the end of May, we've got a whole kind of list of tunes, and we just gather after school and play through them, and it's kind of fun. The second day is for people who have a little bit more experience. And the tunes are harder, and we kind of show up, and we work on them to a small extent, but we kind of just play. And it's not necessarily about refining anything. We have honors orchestra next year for that, but it's just a chance to just play notes that are increasing levels of difficulty and really fun to play. And I love fiddle music, and I love fiddle music from all different types of countries and different home bases, I guess you could say. So we do Scottish stuff, we do Irish stuff, we do stuff from Cape Breton, we do stuff from all over. So I just kind of do it. I find tunes that I catch my ear, and then we just transpose them and fit them in. So look out for that. That might be something that your young musician is maybe eager to try out, and it's kind of fun. I also play guitar. We get one of our building subs plays the guitar as well. And so that's really nice to have when you have fiddle music, to have this backing of guitar. It changes everything, and it's super fun. So anyways, that's Fiddle Club. There's also something called Oakland Youth Orchestras in this area. And this is an organization that's been happening, I think, from possibly the 70s. They may have started before then, but it's been going on for decades and decades. They built it into this fantastic program that has high school level graduating seniors that are going into fantastic areas and are really good top class at their instruments, and they have orchestras for that level, all the way down to 4th graders who've been playing for a year or two, and they're just getting their feet wet in orchestra ensemble stuff. And Oakland Youth Orchestras, they meet weekly during the school year, and they rehearse music, and every spring, if you're somebody who's interested, you have an audition, and they place you in the orchestra that will best suit your level. And so then the following school year, we play. They have 4 concerts every year, actually right here on this stage. And if you're free Thursday evening this week, I know it's busy, but Oakland Youth Orchestra has a concert day this Thursday right here. And you can come and kind of preview, hey, if you maybe are already thinking, hey, that might be cool, come and hear one of the groups or all of the groups perform, because you will be mind blown, because they really do a great job. They're phenomenal. So it's another level of playing. Private lessons are something too. Sometimes people ask me, oh, is my student struggling? Do they need private lessons? And the thing about private lessons is they're good for anybody, any level, any age actually. A lot of adults are curious about string instruments, but those are great. We can help set you up. Private lessons, I think, really build courage and confidence on the instrument, And they help in other ways too, because you get a defined set of weekly, usually you take them every week, you get like weekly kind of steps, what you're going to work on for that week for that individual student. It's a one-on-one partnership with the teacher. And so that really builds strategies. How are you going to prepare for the next week's lesson? How are you going to take something that's a solo for just your instrument? You're the solo player. Nobody else is playing with you, maybe a piano accompanist, but it's just you. And that builds a lot of things that help outside of music as well. So private lessons are an option. And then there's summer camps. And I'm not going to talk about the various summer camps. You'll get my email, but I recommend those. Again, those are going to be really great for anybody who's kind of into it a little bit, who you can kind of see a little bit of a, hey, this is fun, I enjoy it. This is great because there's different types of camps. Some are shorter, some are longer, some are cheaper, some are more expensive. And there can be one that kind of fits somebody who's excited about music. So just look ahead for that. That's my little bulletin here for tonight's concert. Anyways, before we play our last two, I want to say thank you to our stage crew here at the OHS Performing Arts Center. They do a phenomenal job setting everything up for our concerts, making sure the sound works and just everything is ready to go. I love it. It's so helpful, and so helpful to just kind of have a home away from home almost. Thank you to our administration for just allowing us to have this awesome program from year to year. And then of course, thank you to all of you guys, all of our supporting family and friends at home. You guys are the front line. You help everybody get here. You help everybody have the equipment. You deal with good days and bad days and bring everybody up, and you remain strong and push through. And you know, orchestra, the first couple years can be kind of hard. These instruments, like I said earlier, they don't just automatically sound good. And so you guys help just make sure everybody's on the right road and having a good time. So thank you very much for coming, and it's been a pleasure so far to work with all these awesome young musicians. So I'm glad to have met them, and so far we're having a great time. So once again, thank you for coming tonight. After we finish, I'll just tell you where you can meet your children, and then we'll have a great night. You can take the rest of the night off, I guess, after that. So, all right, thank you for coming, people. All right, so our children they're going to move into the orchestra room backstage. They're going to pack up there, and then we'll kind of come out to the lobby right in the back there. If you want, you can meet your child in the orchestra room too if you like. Thank you very much. I will see you. Our next concert is the last week of school in June, so I'll see you then, if not before. Thank you very much.